Now, I showed you where Ezekiel chapter 1, Ezekiel chapter 10, where God blew up the space shuttle over Texas, 2003, and Revelation chapter 4. These are all of the same sickness of God. They are all the space shuttle, exact same thing, but they are written in different formalities. Now, after Revelation chapter 4, listen at this clearly. He described in Ezekiel chapter 1 as 4 living creatures. Chapter 10, 4 living creatures of Ezekiel. Revelation chapter 4, 4 living creatures. They was identified by three primary sources: the man, the lamb, and the eagle. But where you get the 4 at, America only had 4 space shuttles at one time in its fleet. If one blew up, they created and manufactured another to replace that one that blew up, even when the one went out into outer space and blew up over the ocean. They created another in its place, but it never had no more than 4 in its fleet. For the purpose that these space shuttles was designed, God called them 4 beasts, which had went up on the brink of the earth, and God watched them from heaven as they made war upon the saints of God, calling them Al Qaeda and Taliban. Now, what this does is gives you a formality of signature of God when he spoke to you during the revelations after Jesus went back to his Father in heaven. He described them as 4 beasts. Words were spoken by 4 beasts. If you go to Revelation chapter 6, he said 4 beasts described the peoples on the face of the earth: the white horse, the red horse, the black horse, and the pale horse. These 4 beasts were signals of God by using the space shuttle, the fleet of the space shuttle that the United States had made. As a matter of fact, to identify the United States of America had went upon the brinks of God, of the earth, and became a wicked nation out into outer space by creating him an environment in the space station. So that's why when you see the word 4 beasts after Revelation chapter 4, and he said the 4 beasts spoke this, the 4 beasts spoke that, the 4 beasts are the space shuttles. He used them as signals to let you know what come into play during the revelations of times unfolding itself. So whenever you read the 4 beasts, you don't have to go by the eagle, the man, and the lion, or what other part. You go by the 4 beasts, because the 4 beasts signifies the signals of God identifying the space shuttle. Letting you know the Antichrist was up on the brink of the earth. Letting you know the season of the Antichrist by describing the 4 beasts. Now, before I get to these other parts, it tells you that in these prophecies that this beast, what you see, which is the United States of America, which is Babylon, Mystery Babylon, came from the Chaldees. Alexander the Great created World Trade Organizations. One of the first to create World Trade Organization. And as it surrounded all the habitats of Earth, it became a dominant superpower. Even from my youth, even as they traded slaves and did all of these sinister things against humanity, they became 4 beasts of the earth. I tell you what I'm doing. Let's go to Mystery Babylon and read that in Revelation chapter 17. And then we go to Revelation chapter 20, same thing. This is how they ravished the earth. Revelation chapter 17, 1 reads, And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgments of the great whore. He called Mystery Babylon Great Whore, which is the United States of America, guided by the CIA. America is a divided kingdom. They live not by the law and rules and regulations of God, but they live by the rules and regulation, law and rules and regulation of the CIA, which is a democratized system. He called her a whore because she had enticed everybody to eat from her, drink from her cup, that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings, the nations of the earth, have committed fornication. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornications. We talk about the United States of America. So he carried me away in the spirit unto the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blaspheming, having 7 heads and 10 horns. This is the lamb that went up into the space shuttle. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colors, and decked with gold and precious stones, and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Isn't it something? God had upon his head Jehovah. King of Israel. He put up. But this man here has upon his head Mystery Babylon. This is where the two meet head to head. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, where he killed, murdering them people over there right now. And with the blood of her, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her. Said, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go in perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose name was not written in the book of life